We've all heard about these grand, ambitious ideas to solve climate change. Well, today, we're looking at one that sounds almost perfect. But what if that perfect plan could accidentally set off a planet-altering catastrophe? Okay, so let's get right into it. The idea seems like a total no-brainer. For years, some of the smartest engineers and visionaries have looked at the massive, empty Sahara Desert and seen the answer to all our energy problems. But is it really that simple? And you can totally see why the idea is so appealing, right? I mean, deserts are huge. They get a ridiculous amount of sun and hardly anyone lives there. It's like they were custom made for gigantic solar farms that could power the entire world. And just to give you a sense of the scale here, we're talking about an area almost the size of the United States. If you cover just a small piece of this with solar panels, you could, in theory, generate enough electricity to meet global demand many, many times over. The potential is just mind-boggling. And the benefits that are promised, they're staggering. We're talking a future with basically limitless clean energy, a massive drop in carbon emissions, new economic boom times for these regions. This is the exact kind of vision that fueled huge projects like Desertec, which seriously planned to power Europe with Saharan sun. It really does sound like the perfect win-win situation. It's been called a grand engineering feat. But what if this whole perfect plan is built on a catastrophic misunderstanding of how our planet actually works? What if this amazing solution creates a problem that's way, way worse than the one it's trying to solve? See, it all comes down to this one crucial scientific idea called albedo. And this, right here, is where that beautiful green dream starts to look more like a global nightmare. So, what the heck is albedo? Well, put simply, it's just a measure of how reflective a surface is. Think about fresh white snow. It has a really high albedo. It reflects most of the sunlight right back into space. Now think about a dark asphalt road on a summer day. It has a super low albedo, so it just soaks up the sun's energy and gets incredibly hot. Our entire planet's climate depends on this delicate balance of reflection and absorption. And this is the absolute heart of the problem. The Sahara's light-colored sand is actually pretty reflective. It bounces a good amount of heat back out. But solar panels, well, they're designed to do the exact opposite. They are incredibly dark and absorbent by design. So what we'd be doing is replacing a giant continent-sized mirror with a giant continent-sized heat sponge. So what happens when you flip that switch? When you turn an area the size of a country from a reflector into an absorber? Well, you don't just generate electricity. You kick off a dangerous and completely unpredictable chain reaction in the global climate system. Okay, here's how it would probably play out. First, those dark panels soak up immense amounts of heat. This warms up the Saharan land and all the air above it by several degrees. Now, this isn't just some local heat wave. This new, massive heat engine would start to mess with huge atmospheric systems, like the Hadley Cell, which controls weather patterns thousands of miles away from Africa. And all that disruption leads to a consequence that is just, well, it's almost unbelievable. It turns out the biggest victim of this green energy project might not be in Africa at all. It might be an entire ocean away in South America. It sounds crazy, right? How could the world's biggest hot desert possibly be connected to the world's biggest rainforest? Well, the answer is in the sky. These two massive ecosystems are intimately linked by the very same atmospheric currents that a superheated Sahara would throw into total chaos. The climate models paint a pretty horrifying picture. The changes could actually weaken the Atlantic trade winds. That starves the Amazon of the moisture it needs to survive, which could trigger massive droughts. It could also change the path of dust that blows over from the Sahara. And believe it or not, that dust carries vital phosphorus that literally fertilizes the Amazon. You take that away, and you add in even more global warming, you could push the entire rainforest past a tipping point, turning it into a dry savanna. So wait, does this all mean solar power is a bad idea? No, absolutely not. The real lesson here is that our solutions have to be implemented with a really deep understanding of the complex, interconnected systems of our planet. The problem isn't the technology itself, it's the idea of applying it with brute force. This really shows us the two paths we can take. The bad idea is to just blindly chase scale, cover everything, and ignore the consequences. The smart approach is so much more thoughtful. It's about using smaller, strategically placed farms, maybe on land that's already been disturbed. It's about integrating solar with other renewables. And maybe most importantly, it's about doing the complex climate modeling before we build anything. At the end of the day, this whole Sahara solar farm idea is an incredibly powerful thought experiment.
It teaches us that our biggest challenge isn't just about finding clean energy. It's about developing the wisdom to use that energy in a way that respects the planet's delicate balance instead of disrupting it. Now that's the real engineering challenge of our time.